Hi everyone, and welcome to the second in the series of a yet unnamed series of vlogs. I'm Susanna, and today in this lead up to St. Patrick's weekend here in Ireland, I just thought I'd just invite you to take some time over these days if they are less busy for you. I know for lots of people, particularly in the service industry and healthcare industry, it will be no less busy. But for whenever you get some time to just a little bit of time out for yourself, just kind of an invitation to take the time to review a little bit. You could call it a life review, a spiritual review, an existential review, whatever language you want to use, but just to kind of take our heads up from the grindstone and actually just look at the bigger picture, because we're so much creatures of habit. Our brains are designed to create patterns, and that's in one way very brilliant. But on the other hand, it does mean that some of the time we can lose decades of our lives doing the same thing over and over again that we never really chose to begin with. So just kind of becoming aware of that, and just taking some time and some me time. And I often say that, you know, family time isn't necessarily the same as me time. It can be very nurturing. It can also be quite stressful. So kind of just being aware of that, and it isn't a license to go off to the golf course for the weekend, but just to kind of, you know, to say, just to kind of invite, if you have a partner, to invite them to get some time for themselves as well, to make sure we're tuning into the things that nurture us and the things that feel meaningful to us, and are they still in our lives? The things that used to give us joy, or the things that just feel utterly natural to us, are they still in our lives, or did we kind of jettison them because they seemed kind of optional, and when life got busy they just got dumped? So tuning back into them and the things, the values, the meanings, the goals, the purposes, and the things that just bring you joy and that feel kind of completely real to you, or just completely authentic to you. And then also thinking about what do you serve outside of yourself, and how best can you serve something outside of yourself? There's a great phrase: the door to happiness opens outwards. And we do know from the kind of the studies and the research in happiness and positive psychology that very much kind of connection to others, and connection to the bigger picture and the bigger world is very much connected to happiness and our feelings of well-being. So really important to remember that. And some of the greats have talked about this idea of purpose and meaning, and what we should be spending our lives doing. George Bernard Shaw said, "This is the true joy of life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one." Sigmund Freud said, "As a civilization, we need to stop living our lives in service of ourselves and our most basic drives, and instead start living for the greater good. Our purpose is to serve our nature's better angels and the world beyond ourselves." And Dostoevsky considered his version of happiness to be fulfilling the purpose of our lives. So the man who was responsible for putting the word stress into our vocabulary, we're so used to it now, but it actually came from the writing and the work of an Austro-Hungarian endocrinologist by the name of Hans Sale. And he talked about adaptation energy. And adaptation energy is the energy that we have over our lifespan for good and bad stressors, to be spent on good and bad stressors. And it's constantly kind of depleting. We get slightly kind of refueled every night with good night's sleep and good nutrition and things that are meaningful to us, etc. But he said that really our stress and our adaptation energies need to be used in the service of our innate need for self-expression. He said both good and bad stressors use up our adaptation energies, but it's the unfulfilling stressors that are much more likely to cause disease in the body. Now, he was an endocrinologist. He was the first person to bring stress and all of the study of stress into our psychological and biological research. And so he's talking about the effects of stress on the body and negative stress on the body, particularly having a bigger effect than positive stress and a more negative effect than good stresses. So we need to really remember that both in our lives and looking after our own health and our loved ones' health, and also in the workplace, and just making sure that we're you know, we're not disconnecting people from their meaning or causing any kind of disease by disconnecting people from meaning and their purpose and fulfilling work. So really, really relevant to the workplace as well. Anyway, that's all for today. Just would leave you with those kind of thoughts to just take a little bit of time to review and think about what's meaningful to you, where you're headed, and the bigger picture of your life. In the meantime, look after yourselves and each other. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.